With Act 74, there are a bunch of hospitality projects in the pipeline over the next 18 months. Do you worry about an oversupply or a lot of Airbnbs struggling right now? Well, so the GDP of the island for tourism it's only 6% of the GDP. And what they expect it to raise to over the next 5 to 10 years is 15%. So 2.5 times the amount that it currently is. The amount of hotel rooms that they have on the island currently, they want to triple or quadruple. So, and so that's what the island of Puerto Rico has sort of identified as a growth area. So that's why we like investing in hospitality, is because if you compare Puerto Rico to some of the other Caribbean islands, the tourism part of the economy is very, very low. Typically, if you go to any other island in the Caribbean, the greatest part of their economy by far will be tourism. And that is a pretty safe thing to say across the board. Like if you go to the Dominican Republic, they've got 3 or 4 times the amount of hotel rooms that we have here in Puerto Rico. If you go to the Bahamas, it's the same thing. If you go to Jamaica or Antigua, it's the same thing. I mean, the economy is really based on tourism. I don't think that we're ever going to get there in Puerto Rico, where the majority of the economy is based around tourism. And I think that's a really good thing for the island. It's a healthy thing that we are manufacturing stuff and that we build stuff and that we export stuff. That's awesome for Puerto Rico. But the fact that they wanted 2.5 times that portion of the economy and that they're willing to give tax credits in order to get it done is the reason that we are heavily invested in tourism. So I really, honestly, guys, I didn't come to Puerto Rico thinking that we were going to buy a guest house or that we were going to have hotels. There wasn't such a thing as an opportunity zone before I got here. But once we got here, and with what's going on the island, it became apparent that this is just a great way to invest. I do think that it feels like we're getting a lot of hotel rooms right now, or there are a lot of projects out there, but I think there's still room. And again, you know, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, the market will let us know, and then things will slow down on that side. So we got a tough question. Adon says we have a tough question. What is stopping the owner of a property from kicking me out of the property after I remodel it for Airbnb in an arbitrage deal, and then it stays with the value that I've added? How do I protect myself from this? So that's a really great question. And guys, if you're going to do Airbnb arbitrage, which I think it's a brilliant way to invest in real estate for not a lot of money, but it is definitely a concern. And I have actually seen what Alejandro is talking about, where someone comes in and they have a great idea to put something into a better condition and put it on Airbnb. And then as quickly as they get it done, the sellers or the landlords find a way out of the deal and just take the property and take all of the value add. It has happened to some friends of mine where they invested into people's properties and they didn't have good contracts, and their time was maybe shorter than they should have had, and they just expected that because things were going well that the landlord would automatically renew, and the landlords didn't renew, right? They looked at it and they said, oh, you're doing great on Airbnb and you're making all that money and you made my place look better. I'm just gonna, at the end of your lease, let you go. And that, unfortunately, is their right. So if you're going to invest in Airbnb arbitrage and you're going to significantly improve someone else's real estate, you need to have a good contract. You need to make sure that you set the time long enough that you can recoup your investment. So you want to do this stuff going in. And it's tricky, guys. Like, you don't know. It could be scary. You don't know that it's going to work until you do it. So you need to have a good business model, a good plan. And I would say you have to have a solid contract. Like, that's absolutely vital to that type of investment. You need to have a long enough window, so a long enough contract that you're going to be able to recoup your investment. And you need to make sure that on the contract, maybe you even have some extensions that are built in. So you do, I would think if you're going to do an Airbnb arbitrage, I wouldn't do it for less than 3 years. And I'd probably, if I felt really strong about the property, I'd want to have a 5-year contract. So I knew that for the next 5 years, I'm going to be able to collect my Airbnb rents as I should be able to, because I've significantly improved someone else's property. And then I might even start to think about, give me a built-in extension if I want it. So if I'm the renter, I tell the landlord, this is a 5-year lease, but I want an extension for another 5 years if we can negotiate it up front. So that extension would be something that you could execute if things are going well, but you wouldn't have to execute if they weren't going well. I hope that helps.